Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm super excited to bring to you my Grail piece. This is pretty much a watch that I've had many different times in the collection, well before I ever had a YouTube channel. And it's one that I've always wanted back, but I was never able to really obtain one because they're just so expensive and they just continue to rise. They don't stop. Some people look at this as, some people love or hate the Rolex Submariner. I happen to love it. I think it's a classic design. I think it's been around. I mean, it's been around for years, since 54, 53. But I just think it's amazing. It's a classic, timeless watch. Okay. Now, something that I wanted to go over with you guys first was the original one that I purchased. And this, I'm going to kind of cover this up so you don't see where I got it from. Okay. But this here was my original one that I purchased back in 2005. Okay. This, you see the name Salvo there. The story behind this is my grandmother. I was at work one day and I happened to call the coin gallery and I asked them, "Hey, you have any, Submariners in stock?" And he said, "Yeah, I've got this, 14060M in stock. Come check it out." I was like, "Okay, I can't get there because they close before, I'm able to get there." And I just called my grandmother up and I said, "Hey, can you go down there and pick this up for me? I'll pay you. I'll pay you back." So she said, "Sure." My lovely Italian grandmother went down there and picked it up for me. Now look how much I paid back then in 2005. Rolex Submariner, gents, $3,028. And this out the door with tax, $3,300. Okay. And this was 10/14 of 2010. All right. So I had that watch for a few years and then I ended up flipping it like I've done many times. And I kicked myself in the butt for that. And the reason why is because I think I sold it for like 5,000. It's only made less than a couple thousand. But these watches now you can't find for less than, 7,000. Or around there, and they continue to go up. Now that one there had a 3130 movement. It was an '05 version, and I think a D serial number or something like that. But it had a 3130 movement, so it had a upgraded movement over this one. Okay, but this one here is special because it has a Swiss only dial. Okay, so pretty much the same watch as the one I had before. Okay, but this has a Swiss only dial and it has the 3000 movement, which the 3000 movement was made. I'm not sure. I'd have to recheck when I do the review of this watch. I'll put out all those details, but I think the 3000 ended in like I think it was maybe 2000, right around there. And so right before this watch, because this is a U serial number which dates it to 1998. And they used the Swiss only dial for less than 2 years. So that's what really makes this rare. And the Swiss only dial pretty much means that it was a transition using Luminova to super luminova. So this is a luminova dial. It does shine and it does shine all night, yes, but it's not as bright as the super luminova. So this was right before, this is what took place after the tritium dial when they stopped the tritium. So the tritium was stopped, I think in 97, 98, right around there. And then these came out and it was brief, within a year or two, they're done with those. And then they came out with the super luminova dial, which had the Swiss made. So this one is, this model, in my opinion, and from what I've seen from other collectors, is going to be highly desirable. And in fact, if you look at the no dates, the 5-digit reference no dates, like this one, they're more expensive than the date models, the 16610s. They're more expensive. So these are valuable and they're going up in value. And I don't see them ever going down. This is the closest thing you can get to the original. It's a two-liner, just like the old 5513s were, just like the original subs were, and it's keeping, even though it's a two-liner and it's not a certified chronometer, it's keeping exceptional time. It's within and we're going to show you, I'm going to put it on the time grapher. It's like 1 or 2 seconds fast right now, but we'll demonstrate that. Now, the little backstory to this is I did some trading. Local guy, friend of mine that has, access to a lot of different watches. he was able to get this for me, and I traded 3 of my watches. I traded the Tudor Black Bay 58, I traded my Breitling Super Ocean, and I threw in there, with some money back, my Seiko Marine Master 300. Yes, that's 3 great watches, but in my opinion, it was worth it to get this watch back to me in my collection, because this is, like I said, something I've always wanted back. I've had the original one I purchased, like we went over in the beginning, back in 2010, okay, 10 years ago. And since then, I had a couple 610s, the date models, and from different years. I had a Swiss only dial date model, and then I had a tritium dial one as well. And then I had a newer Swiss made. I actually had also a 16-8000, which was a transitional model as well before the 16610. So I've had a few of them, but the date models. I didn't have the no date. The only original no date that I had was the one that I had back in 2010. I also had a 62 pointed crown guard model that I purchased and had it for a short while, flipped that, made, doubled my money. But that one there is probably worth, I don't know, 20,000 now. So too bad I didn't keep that as well. But you never know going forward. And I think from what I've learned with these and how their prices just continue to go up, this will stay with me, okay, at all cost. But anyway, this one here is a pretty good example. Nice, no real dings or dents anywhere. The lugs aren't perfect. It does need to have its factory, brushing and polishing put back on it, because I think over the years being serviced, they kind of, distorted that a little bit. But that can easily be done. A qualified individual can go in here and make it look factory again, and I will probably end up doing that, but I think for now I'm just going to wear it. It's keeping great time. You guys know, if you know anything about the Submariner, I'll just go over the case. I think it's a 40 mil. Well, I know it's a 40 mil case. I believe it's a 47 from tip to tip. The thickness is very thin. I think it's around 12 millimeters. When I get into the review, we will do all that. We'll do all the dimensions and everything. This is just kind of like my first look. And it does have the jingy jangly bracelet, which I'm fine with. My original one had the same thing, and I'm okay with that. And yeah, you're going to complain. Everyone's going to complain about how this is stamped steel and everything else. Yeah, but it serves its purpose. It works. Any of the ones I've ever had, I never had a problem wearing, and they were always very serviceable. They always worked good, and it's a good everyday watch. It's a good, strong built watch. There's your Rolex crown, and it's like undistorted. It looks really good, like they never even polished or brushed this, so that looks good. So really, it's an overall pretty good condition. There's not a whole lot of stretch. I think it's decent. I'm happy. I really am. And what can I say? It's a Rolex. It's a Submariner. It's what I've wanted back, and it's here. And having that Swiss only at the dial, I think that it's going to continue to rise in value. So, and I love the holes case. I really do. I've had other subs that don't have the holes, other Rolexes that don't have the holes, which is cool. I like that. That's what they did. That's the newer models. But I like the holes because it makes strap changes so easy, okay? So easy. And this thing is going to look good on different watch straps. Some real nice, leather straps. It's going to look great. Some NATOs, stuff like that. So you'll be seeing this. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll be seeing this a lot. So I'm going to be doing a lot of photographs of this in the near future. So let's put it on the time grapher, and you guys can see what I'm talking about with Rolex. Now, this thing I think was serviced a few years back, and it's still running really well. You guys can see, look at that straight line. I didn't get that straight line on any of my other watches. I think the Tudor was pretty good, but look at this. So our amplitude is 291. Our beat error is 0.0. I want to see that. That's what I love to see. This is a perfectly poised, regulated movement, and it's done very well. Right now, 0 seconds. It's going to gain. So now +1. We can leave it on here a minute just to kind of see, where it ends up. Now, with this, I should have showed you. It came with the original box. And it didn't come with the original papers. I'm not going to show, his information, but the original guy, I guess, that had it, it shows his receipt and everything else. It does not have, I've got the extra link, box, everything, but it doesn't have the original papers or anything, which, it's not really a deal breaker exactly. It's a, 1998 watch. So, it's something that, you're lucky if you can, get a complete set like that. But, look at that, +1 still. Look at that amplitude. Wow. I just think that's amazing. I'm super happy. Let's take it off. I'm going to put it on the wrist, then we'll close. Some of you that have been following the channel are going to be like, man, you got rid of those 3 watches and, why'd you do it? This and that and the other thing. I'm a watch nut. I have a passion for watches. I've got some new things coming as well to check out, but this has been my, Grail, and I had my Grail originally and I should have just kept it. And instead I was chasing down all these other watches, looking at all these other watches. And then I had some other interests in between, and now it's back and I'm going to keep it because this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's just, I don't know. I'm head over heels over this thing, but there you have it, guys, on my around 7.5 inch ish wrist. And it looks great, and it's home back on my wrist. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.